Okay, so we are approaching the Satelles office in Redwood City. This is Suite 330, no, 320. So when we walk into the office, we have a little entryway area where we have our cool Satelles sign. Little area, I think it's probably designed to be like a receptionist area, but of course we don't have a lot of people come in and out, so we don't need a receptionist. We'll let Jeremy say goodbye. Jeremy's on his way out. Have a good day, Jeremy. Have a good evening. All right. There's me with my video camera. We also have a cool display here on the front. I should have turned it on at the beginning of the video. Sometimes we have the simulator or something cool on there. Right now I think Rob has it on a overlapping or a repeating video. No, except we lost power, so there's really nothing going on there. But Rob did have it on an overlapping video, so you can see we've just walked in to the right little alcove area. I think that's going to be a dog and pony area, I would think, for people to walk in. Something with cool satellite pictures and images. Maybe the simulator goes there. Now there's a second little alcove area. A little bit bigger than the first. This is currently Rob's space. You can tell by the Diet Coke can and the American flags. But that will eventually be another dog and pony area, I think. That is our simulator. So that's what I think. That usually has cool, pretty pictures that I think could probably go in that other alcove area. But that, another space right now kind of being used as desk space and test space. Just to let you know what else is kind of toward the front of the office is our main conference room. Couple of whiteboards. Notice a lot of white walls. We got our cool GPS World stuff. Shelly, you'll recognize those. A little clock. Our kitchen area in the back of the conference room. And the conference table itself, which I know would be very expensive to replace. And then a bunch of storage stuff that really doesn't belong in a conference room, so I think that will probably all go next door. I think we and Jeremy generally agree. A couple of whiteboards, which is always good for a conference room. And so that is, again, back toward the front of the office. That's our conference table, conference area. So if we look toward the back of this office suite, there are two offices. The one on the left is currently my office. I think we call that O1 in our diagram. Right now a single desk. I always like to face the door, so if somebody walks in, I'm facing them. Nice windows, nice corner office windows, both facing the foothills. Just an office space. And then the next adjacent space, also currently being used as a lab, but I think this really should be an office because it's got windows, and electronics don't care about windows, and people do. That stuff in the corner is kind of storage-y stuff, but this is probably the other dog and pony demo type thing. It's got a nice couple of timers and some cool, pretty picture plots that we can point to, and we've got some equipment with flashing lights that we always like to point to. So these are kind of demonstration. When I say dog and pony stations, that's one of them. And here we also happen to have our server rack, which I would say does not necessarily need to be in a public fancy space. In the back there, we actually, I think, have a Satelles banner or poster. One thing I'll also point out is we got a lot of boxes of storage. You'll notice this is sort of our shipping receiving area also, so we have boxes sort of shoved under desks and stuff. We really don't want that necessarily to be there. If somebody wanted to actually work at that workstation, not very comfortable. So that is Suite 320, our current suite that we've been leasing for a couple years now. Very nice. Oh, I forgot to show for Simona, in case Simona didn't catch this, we have our "It's the law. You have to hang this in your office." And we did, because we don't want to break the law around here. This is a quick snapshot of what we're thinking about for our space and different things we want: a conference room, desks, timing station, server rack, all that stuff. I sent Shelly a more updated version of that now. So normally we'd have to go out to the next suite. I didn't point out, if you look here, we have blue dotted lines, and that's where I think I would like to see an opening to the next suite. So you can imagine it would sort of use up this half of the room would sort of then be dedicated toward being a walkway to get to that door, and over here is where we would actually have any kind of equipment. So we lose a little bit of space, but what we gain is communication between the two suites, which is much more important than a little extra space. I want people to be walking back and forth, saying hi to each other. I don't want us to be separated by walls, if at all possible. We walk further down the hall, and this is Suite 330. Used to be the home of Coco the gorilla. Actually, not her home, but her, her organization. So as we walk in, the first thing we have is, if we look to the left, kind of a little alcove area, and actually a locking closet. So we've been debating whether the closet should be for storage of inventory that needs to be locked up, or we do have locking cabinets, so maybe that should just be like anything that's going to be ugly, like shipping, receiving boxes or stuff like that. But it's a nice little closet, substantial. It's got a kind of a full-size door, and if you look in, it's pretty dark, but I'd say, you can see the size of the closet, but it's, we're not going to make Rob work in here or anything like that, but we will be able to store a bunch of stuff in there, I think. So as we walk in the front door to the right, there's our front door entrance. We walk in the front door to the right, that's a little alcove area. Actually one with a window, so it might be a nice place to have some workstations or something where people would work on stuff. Next over here is probably one of the biggest spaces in the entire office, except for maybe the conference room is comparable. This is more of a square space, kind of a big square of space. That is the opposite side of the wall. We think, if we did the measurements right, that's where the door would punch through. So I could imagine, sort of the left side of this being kind of like a walkway, but that would leave a whole lot of space for workbenches or work stuff around here. We would just have to be careful not to block where that door, people coming in and out of that door freely. So we'd have to be a little careful with that space. To our right here, we have a smaller office, but actually pretty good sized office with a nice window. This would be a cooler office, actually. The sun would come in the morning, but not in the evenings, overlooking Sebastian Coffee and some trees. Next to that office, I think that's 05. Next to that office is another office. This is more of a corner office type scenario. Really pretty good sized office here. And nice windows. You can overlook the foothills. And then the third office is over here. This is definitely the largest office. Again, corner office, probably would be used by, at this point, probably Jeremy would start out in here. So that is our space. So this is the space that has not much in it yet, except for some blue tape on the wall, really nothing in it. And there's our exit back to the hallway. I hope that gives you a sense of our space.